Welcome to Solve This Murder. I am your detective, Bill.
And I'm your crime scene criminal and witnesses, Dani. We're on part 3 of the affair at the Victory Ball.
In part 2, we discovered that Coco Courtney apparently died of a cocaine overdose.
By interviewing some of the witnesses, we learned about the events of the night, such as a quarrel between Coco and Lord Cronshaw, and that the ripped pom-pom came from Mrs. Davidson's costume.
And then I devised a perfect and airtight recreation of the case involving swapped costumes, secret alibis, and Chris Davidson stabbing people in a rage. But I haven't figured out all the details yet. Okay, Dani, there are 3 people I haven't talked to, but I've already solved the murder, other than a couple of fundamental points.
So, one fundamental point.
One fundamental point.
You seem to be lacking a bit of motive.
Absolutely no idea why.
Second, the pom-pom.
No idea what's up with the pom-pom and the pom-pom ripping. How similar? No, she's little. Never mind, go on.
Okay. 3, the waiters.
The waiters? Why are the waiters a question?
What's your timeline?
9?
Well, based on, what are your thoughts of timeline based on your wild and wacky theory?
My thoughts on timeline, I suppose you're right. Let's think about the timeline. 9 o'clock, dinner. 9:30, take me home, Mr. Davidson, please. I'd like to go home. I'm Coco. That happens at 9:30. 9:45, people are already back out on the floor, but Davidson is going in and he's still talking, giving a thorough talking to Cronshaw. So the table presumably has not been whisked away yet. Did the waiters say... Well, I talked to the waiters earlier about when they cleared the table.
After everyone had gone out.
So they saw him go back out into the...
Well, they might not have seen that happen.
But they saw that it was empty.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to the room, to the supper room.
That's you driving really fast.
Yeah, great.
Okay, you are back at the Colossus Hall.
Let's have a look at this supper room.
What do you want to know about it?
I would like to know, first off, does the tablecloth drape from the table to the floor? Could I perhaps hide a body under the table?
Let's say 2/3 of the way down. You'd probably see feet sticking out.
Cool. Is there any other prominent corpse hiding accoutrement? The curtains were drawn.
They were.
Is there like a bay window I could prop up a corpse?
You know what? It is a bit of a protrusion window spot.
Okay, so perhaps the corpse was sat... Now, I also wanted to check the window itself. Could I get in and out from... If I was outside, could I open the window? In fact, I'd go outside. Can I open the window? Oh, no, he could have just left the window unlocked. Can I unlatch the window, then go around the side and see if I can let myself in through the window?
It's an upper floor, so
it is an upper
probably
floor.
not.
Probably not. Any ladder remains out here?
No, nothing like that.
Because my question is, let's say he hid the body. Oh, no, but the doors was open. The doors was open.
The doors was open.
The doors was open. It was. He could come back in. If Chris did all this and wanted to set up the alibi, as I discussed last episode, he could have come back in any costume. He has costumes, surely. Not specifically Alakino costumes, but surely he has just random costumes as a theatre guy. Did I see any other costumes in his costume drawer?
Not in his... Like, you went through his normal... Oh, no, you probably were through his costume thing. So presumably there were lots of other costumes.
He could have turned back up in costume, gone straight into the supper room, which I already know was unlocked. Anybody could have come and gone, as per the waiters in episode 1. Could have just gone in, changed costumes with the body for a little bit, set up an alibi of the body wandering around, and then come back, rechanged, and left. No one would have been none the wiser. People were still trying to guess who everybody was as a masquerade ball.
All right, so waiters, you can find a way around.
So waiters, I can find a way around. But I haven't answered the question of the pom-pom. Can I re-examine somehow the articles of clothing on the Pierrot and Pierrette costumes? Is there any chance that he had a missing pom-pom and he stole the one from his wife and sewed it onto his own costume to hide the vigorous attack?
All of these costumes were made relatively recently. So like you look at his costume and You have trouble telling when something is freshly sewn or not.
But you're right. That wouldn't make any sense because why would he not take the pom-pom from... Like, if he's already going to dress in the guy's Alakino costume, why not take the pom-pom that incriminates your wife?
Before you keep going with this train of thought, let me finish this.
Please.
Because again, it's a short story.
Oh, sure.
But when you look at the Pierrette costume,
Mm.
something strikes you now that you're looking at it closer.
Looks like it was like cut with scissors or something.
It's neat.
It's a neat scissor cut. Oh, did she do it herself to help her husband's alibi? Were they in on it together? Okay, so that was to cover up. That was a what am I looking? That's a mislead. That's what I was looking for. That's a mislead. She knew that I would not look at her and think she overpowered, or someone did. Maybe he did, perhaps, or they did together. That it's less suspicious for her to have had that ripped off because you wouldn't think that she was trying to fight him in a physical struggle. But it was actually cut off and replaced the missing one into the Pierrot costume. Okay, so that's where the bauble comes from. It was a physical confrontation, and then he realized when he got home, like, oh wait, he took my bauble at some point. So, I just need to know why. All the pieces are fitting into place here. Unless I'm missing some really fundamental pieces. But I think all the pieces fit. The question is why.
Who could have this answer?
Well, I could maybe talk to Chris, but get out of here. I want to talk to my main man, Mrs. Malaby.
Yay!
I say, I
All right,
knock
you
on
go
the
to
door,
her hotel. She doesn't have her own door. She's just in town. She's at a hotel.
and I say,
hello.
hey, Mrs. Malaby.
Hi, that's me.
I need to talk to you about
I
events.
shouldn't be so happy, should I? Sorry.
So many people are dead, Mrs. Malaby.
I got a little wasted last night.
Oh, I'm assuming you know already that
it's
Viscount Cronshaw has died.
So sad, right?
You found his body.
Unbelievable. Like, I couldn't believe it.
Set the scene for me when you found the finding of his body.
Oh, okay. So it was getting kind of late, right? Let's see. How did it go? I want to say it was like 1:30. There was Colonel Digby and I were having a chat on the floor, and we realized that it was getting time for the costume reveal, the unmasking. And he looked up and he saw that Lord Crenshaw was in one of
It's such a temptation to say Crenshaw. Even I do it.
That Lord Cronshaw was in one of the balconies upstairs.
Sure. Oh, what? Wait, what? Sorry, he was in one of the balconies upstairs.
Yeah.
Not in the supper room.
No.
Where did you find the body?
In the supper room.
Okay.
No. He was alive. He was standing.
You had seen
He was
him
watching.
there.
Yeah.
Could you see him at the time? Did you look up and say, there he is, I see this man?
Yeah. The colonel called out to him and said, hey, come down. We're getting ready to go. And he called back and said, great.
I'll be there. And did he say it like he was Chris Davidson putting on a voice?
Huh?
Don't worry. Continue your story.
And then he left, and we kept waiting and chilling and talking to people. And then we realized he never came down. We hadn't seen him yet. And so, it had been like 10 minutes. I was getting impatient. So I said, let's go find him. And I tapped a couple of other people on the shoulders, and we all went to go find him. And it was me. I went to the right room, or the wrong room, however you want to look at it. And there he was in the middle of the floor.
How do you think he got down there from the balcony?
Huh?
It was up at the balcony.
Yeah, that's just upstairs, looking over. It's the same floor as the supper rooms.
Oh, the supper room's on the same floor.
Yeah, they're upstairs.
Okay, lovely. And so you found the body there.
Uh-huh.
Did it look as if it had been recently redressed in its own costume?
How do you tell that? I don't know.
You're an aged old woman of the world.
Ouch.
Sorry. Okay, wonderful. And you were talking with Digby?
Yeah.
I don't think
he was
I don't think
nice.
there's anything interesting about Digby, I suppose. He's just a guy. What was he dressed as?
Oh, he was dressed as a bear. Like, I think he said it was from the Jungle Book.
Oh, interesting.
I haven't read it.
No, nor have I. That's been written by 1923, right?
Yeah.
Great. Let's talk about the evening.
Sure.
What do you know about... Oh, by the way, Coco Courtney? Super dead.
Huh?
Super dead.
Oh, that's such a bummer.
Yeah. Died from terrible
Oh,
cocaine
she was nice.
overdose. How was she in the evening?
Oh, she was not happy.
She seems sad,
And
right?
it was really sad. I was looking forward to I heard that she was like fun and knew all the right people and stuff like that, and like had all these cool friends and cool parties and things like that. And like I love these big fancy gatherings, and
Yeah, you're a party freak.
I thought that she'd make it more fun, and
Do you
she
have
was
any-
down.
Do you have any idea why she seems so sad? Did you hear any rumors?
Look, I didn't hear anything. I didn't ask anything, but woman to woman, look, I was married for 7 glorious months before my husband passed away.
Is that true? Is that a true fact? I hope not.
Let's not look into
She
that.
did it. She's a murderer.
I know true love, and I know when a couple is breaking apart.
When someone's perhaps on the precipice of romantic collapse.
It was so sad.
So you think she had broken up with Cronshaw? Or they were on the verge?
Just think that a heartbreak was in the air.
Do you have any idea what that heartbreak might have been? You said heartbreak was in the air.
Well, I heard that the two of them were a thing. I guess they were, yeah, not so much of a thing last night.
Dang. Anything else interesting happened that night? I don't want to spend too much
Well,
long
there was
talking.
a
I want
lot
to wrap
of
up this mystery.
there was a lot of death and a lot of police in the end.
That's fair. A lot of death? Just the one death, right?
Yeah, sure. Well, no, you just told me.
Oh, by the way, Eustace Beltane's also, he died in terrible, there was a very localized tornado, took his house away, he died. The Davidsons fell down a manhole.
What?
Fell down a manhole.
Should
Happens
I
all
be
the time.
worried?
Yeah, in London, where this is, it happens all the time.
Huh.
We don't cover our manholes, we leave them open, and we often push people at them, just as a fun game.
This isn't the London of last time I visited.
Well, be careful out there.
Huh.
It's a terrible world. Full of open manholes.
Right.
They're full of knives as well.
Ah. Uh-huh.
So, anyway, you arrived all together.
We did, yeah.
You were dressed as some kind of Pulcinella?
That's right.
Paired up
It was a
with
pretty
Eustace.
bulky costume. Sure.
Do you have a good relationship with Eustace Beltane? Do you know him well?
He knew my husband better than he knew me.
Oh, of course, your husband. Who was it? Is your husband a character I should know in any way?
No, his name was Martin.
I don't even know. Oh, our fan is a Martech brand fan, everybody. There you go. Okay. What do I want to ask Malaby? So then you went to dinner at 9.
Yeah.
Tense dinner.
Oh, yeah.
And did you notice anyone take a knife?
No.
Okay, that's fun. Well, knives are probably still there, right? No one took it, like, because food was still out. I'm talking to myself, by the way. Malaby, so feel free to stop existing. No one, when the confrontation happened, if I'm picturing it was Chris who killed Cronshaw, the table settings were still there. He could have, in a rage, grabbed it, stabbed it, and then he couldn't have taken his costume, right? Because he was stabbed through the costume when I saw the body. So there's some other Alecchino costume floating around. I can't imagine, or maybe just the mask he took. When you saw Cronshaw on the balcony, was he still in costume?
Yeah, of course.
His big Alecchino mask?
Yeah.
Same coloured clothes?
Yeah.
They were white
Yeah,
and...
it was the costume.
What was the colour?
Yellow and green.
Yellow and green?
Yeah.
Not... Wait, what colours were the Pierrot and Pierrette costumes? They were green.
White and green.
White and green. Definitely not dressed as Pierrot.
I don't...
But with a different mask.
No, I don't think so.
Where's this extra Alecchino costume floating around?
If you want to ignore that, I will happily explain to you in an autopsy.
Sure, okay. Let's leave it for the autopsy. Let's just say he got his hands on a costume. And then at the dinner, Coco asked Chris Davidson to take her home, right?
Yeah.
But he didn't. Not until later. Or he did
Well, it was pretty soon.
Okay.
But
You stayed, though.
I stayed like
at the party.
Oh, of course. I wasn't going to leave a party.
How did Cronshaw seem after Coco left?
Oh, I don't think I saw him until that balcony.
Oh, interesting. You left. He stayed in the supper room, and you didn't see him again until the balcony at 1:30?
I guess I left the supper room before him, yeah.
How would one get to the balcony? You just walk in.
Yeah, there's
Again,
no secrets.
I've solved this already. To get into the party is easy. You are in costume. You just put on a costume. Interesting. What else do I want to ask to Malaby? What do you know about the Davidsons? You're a theatre fan, right?
Yeah, he does great work.
Was he in any recent
He's a nice guy.
production of a Commedia show?
Oh, I have no idea. I see what's available. I float with the wind, all that sort of thing.
Was there a recent production where he would be wearing yellow and green, like Robin Hood and his yellow men?
Maybe.
Okay, interesting. What are you doing here? Why did you come to London?
Spontaneity.
Yeah,
I
fair
like a
enough.
good time.
Get a job. All right. What do you know about cocaine?
Sorry?
What do you know about cocaine?
Oh, okay. Sorry, accents. I not. What do you?
Does this mean anything to you? I say, showing her the diamond encrusted cocaine box.
Oh, that's fancy. Belonged to Coco, right?
I would say so. Yes,
Oh,
it has
so
her name on it.
She kept drugs in there.
Yeah, look, I open it up and throw cocaine at her
Oh.
face.
Oh, no,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Nah,
I take
this
it back.
is post party.
Sure. Did you know that Coco was taking cocaine?
Look, I didn't know her very well. I knew her more by, reputation and that sort of thing. That's why I heard that she could make a party more fun, or that she knew people who could.
So she was a drug dealer.
No,
She was a
knew
drug dealer.
people who could.
So where was she getting her drugs from? Is that what the breakup was about? He was like, I don't want to be associated with a drug dealer like you, you low-born
She totally
scum.
was. She was not a dealer.
Okay. A dealie.
She was totally a dealie.
I wonder who her dealer was. Was it Chris Davidson? Please tell me, Malaby, if you know. Was it Chris Davidson?
I shouldn't say. Yeah.
If I wanted to get cocaine and I needed to get it from a man whose initials were C and D, who should I call?
Look,
What advice would you give me, Malaby?
Me no speak English.
Okay,
Sorry.
so Chris Davidson's selling drugs to Coco. That's why they have such a collegial and friendly relationship, because he loves drug money and she loves drugs, and they're friends.
You have all the information that you will need.
Okay, here it is. I know already from Eustace that the 5th Viscount Cronshaw hates drugs. He's an anti-drugman, as they say. He finds out that Coco is doing drugs. And he says, if you want to marry me, you must never take a drug again in your life. And she says, I can't choose. I can't choose between you and the drugs. I love them so much. And I love you too. And he says, I don't care. I shall never allow you into my life. You drug-addled freak. She's devastated, sad. He has taken the drugs from her. I found them on his corpse. He's caught her with the drugs and said, you drug haver, you may have none of these drugs. I shall take them from you. And he did, and he stored them in his little coat pocket.
Mm-hmm.
She is distraught. She wants to go home. She wants to forget her troubles. Well, she does to a terrible degree. Taking too much cocaine and overdosing. Or perhaps she's killed by Davidson when he takes her home because he wants to cover it up. Maybe she says, don't blame me, blame Mr. Davidson. He sold me the drugs. And then Cronshaw is like, you there, Davidson, come here. And they talk after dinner is over, and they fight. He grabs him by the scruff of his Pierrot costume, and he says, don't you sell drugs to my wife. If I find even an inch of drugs on a person, I'll tell the world about you. I'll
He's
expose you
probably
to
going
the
to
cops.
tell the world now.
I'm going to tell the world about you. And Cronshaw says, no, you ain't. Sorry. And then Davidson says, no, you ain't telling nobody about me, see? I've become American now that my drug habits have been exposed. And he stabs him in the chest to be like, so he can never reveal my secret drug secret. And then he goes, oh no, what do I do now? In a rage to protect my reputation, I have killed a man. Ha ha ha, I have a plan. He leaves the room and he says, hey, Coco, I'll take you home now. Why don't you come with me to your home? And here,
What's he done with the body?
Body is stashed in the window. So he leaves. First of all, he doesn't want the waiters finding the body. So he puts the body in the window bay, draws the curtains. It's just sitting there waiting. Someone on the street looks up at the window and says, "Is that the dead Lord Cronshaw? Well, I'm just a peasant. I've got no stake in this party. Bye. It's 1923." And he leaves. Now he takes Coco home. He takes her home, puts her in bed, and he says, "Hey, before you go to bed, eat all this cocaine.
Take an extra dose just to show him.
Take all this extra cocaine." And he gives her a bunch of cocaine.
That is something that we didn't really cover. Why did she have a second little box?
Yeah, it was from him, and it was extra cocaine. Maybe even poison cocaine. I don't know. Because he doesn't want her blabbing. Now he knows that she's revealing the secret. He's going to go to jail for cocaine. So he kills her. She dies of cocaine. He then comes back to the party and he says, What to do? Ah, luckily I'm a member of the theatre troupe, and I have at my disposal an Alekino costume. I've made it myself because I'm a master theatre maker." He makes an Alekino costume quickly. He returns to the party in costume. Everyone who looks at him either doesn't know who he is or thinks it's Cronshaw. He goes up, he makes an appearance, he stands at the balcony, overt enough to be seen, not close enough to be questioned and give away his identity. He sits up at the balcony, he waves to the people below. Says, "Hello, it's me, Lord Cronshaw. This is my voice. Bye, hello." He makes an appearance. He has been seen. And he's been seen at the party well after Chris left the party. So now he has an alibi. All he needs to do now is go back to the supper room, drag the body out where it can be found now that he's established his alibi, and then waltz on out of the party, maybe changing costume one more time because he's a little freak. He leaves, goes home, and the next day is arrested by Poirot and Jap. That's me.
Amazing work for the second time, I believe, in this show's history. Person caught without being spoken to.
Why would I talk to him? He's a murderer! Nice.
What's the time like on this one? Time for a post-chat in this?
I think there is. It's only,
Right.
it's only 20 minutes in, I think. So
Then
let's make this the autopsy
chat.
as well.
Ah,
Autopsy.
really well done.
Yeah, that was a very fun little mystery.
It was tricky in the little details that weren't there. So, for instance, where did the second Alekino costume come from?
Where did the second Alekino costume come
That's
from?
an extremely good question. I have no idea.
Oh, it's just not in the book?
It's not there.
I think it is just assumed that if you're an actor, you have access to an Alekino costume.
It might be. I think that the assumption is that he did take the costume off him because
And then put the knife back.
Well, I'm trying to because it's not very premeditated. So,
No, true.
Like as far as I'm aware, he didn't get a chance. Unless it's insanely premeditated, and he had the tailor make a second one, brought it with him and stashed it somewhere because he never went back to his own house until after both deaths happened.
True, yeah. I think
So it must have been that body, right? But that is never brought up.
It's never
It was
brought up.
just a naked body for a while.
Yeah, I guess it
Or
was
a
just a naked
decostumed
body for a
body.
while. Okay, so that's not in the book at all.
No.
No explanation for where
It does
he got a
not
second
say
Alekino
it.
costume.
It just says, so I figure someone must have slipped in there, and it must have been the one in the sleek costume, and it must have been able to double up as Harlequin.
I noticed when you had a throwaway line as Malaby of like, my costume's quite big. Was that relevant?
Not hers. For Poirot, it was extremely relevant about who you could rule out as putting on someone else's costume, like over the top of your
They can
costume.
just take their costume off,
Yeah.
Poirot.
It's
If they're already getting changed and undressing someone, they can undress themselves.
a bit glossed over.
It's a bit that's silly, Poirot.
But yeah, trying to figure out things like I believe that the time that they ate dinner was also never specified.
Sure.
All I had as far as time went was that they arrived at 8 p.m., the body was found at 1:45, and that Chris Davidson had left almost 2 hours before the murder had happened. Oh, all right, so like midnight? What?
So did they eat from 9 till 11?
I don't know.
Was it actually a very
but
long and lengthy meal?
It's a painfully long dinner.
Luckily, it didn't matter too much.
Yeah, there was...
'Cause we had him here leaving at 9:45.
There was a subplot, yeah. There was a subplot sort of going... They did not account for travel time whatsoever.
Sure, great. Everyone's next door.
Yep. There was some subplot that didn't bother dealing with about, we could hear Eustace quarrelling with someone in that room at some point at around 1 a.m.
Oh.
And he was just scolding a waiter for being drunk. And
Okay.
that was but why didn't they see a
why
body
didn't
there?
they see the body? But we just covered that by saying, why didn't the waiter see it
Exactly.
when they cleared the table? Which is a much easier,
shuffled
smoother
it.
way to work it out for me. Because I'd already talked to the waiters.
Yeah.
It was good fun. There was not as much. There were not any relationship issues that I expected. I'm so used when I see like a couple and another couple, and then like another woman who's possibly eligible for marriage, and
the ages were, we got Lord Crenshaw's 25 and we got that Eustace is around 50. Nothing else was stated.
Sure.
Except, weirdly, there was one quote, and if you had interviewed Chris at any point, he could have told you.
Who would?
His version of events, which is saying that while he escorted Coco home, she said that she was going to teach that old crunch a lesson. So she's young enough to call the 25-year-old that old crunch.
Okay, so she's 17 years old.
At most.
All right.
It's very upsetting.
And Coco, the 14-year-old girl, God, ridiculous.
Yeah. Mrs. Malaby, while very much described in the story as a party girl, as far as we can tell, has no relation to the drug stuff. That was just my push to try to get you back on the drug track, to try to find that connection.
Yeah, I think it worked
motive.
really well. I think that worked really well because the drugs, knowing that like Coco's a big party girl, she can make any party bigger, and have you very nice at really hinting that hard. Like, I'll just say, she has drugs all the time. She knows drugs. How in on it was Mrs. Davidson?
Absolutely, you were right on that. She is small and fragile, but with shrewd eyes in the story is her description.
You didn't tell me about her shrewd eyes.
I tried to make it come across in her shrewd dialogue and knowing what time things happen.
If I'd known her eyes were shrewd,
would have been a giveaway. But yeah, she absolutely did the cutting of the pom-poms.
Nice. Yeah, because it's like much more of an alibi for her to just like have lost it, because you wouldn't expect her to have overpowered someone in a physical confrontation when she's so little.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
I was initially going to leave it like it is a very big point that her pom-pom is clearly cut as opposed to being bedraggled.
I loved that you didn't tell me that, and I had to go and look again.
Yeah, you really went and re-looked.
Because when I looked, it felt I really earned that.
I was very proud of you.
Yeah, that was great. My first thought, what if? And so I wanted to first see if his had been like sewn back on, but then it was how hers had been removed. That was great.
That was wonderful.
And I'm really glad I got to actually do that as opposed to be given it to it, because it wouldn't have felt as good.
Yeah. And at the very beginning I said that I was shifting the timeline a little bit for you.
Yes, what did you shift?
That's just because
the dinner end at 9:45.
in the story Poirot and Poirot and Hastings don't get told about this from Jap and don't get brought onto the case until a week later. So everything is already known. All of the stuff has been investigated. Everyone has been interviewed. Both the deaths had happened. Really, my main reason for doing it is I wanted to give you Coco's dead.
Yes. Oh, that was great. That was really nice. It was nice to get that as a moment in the investigation rather than part of the setup. I mean, obviously, you want to change the timeline so I get to do all the investigating, as opposed to being told about investigations somebody else has done.
Exactly.
That's a much different game. That's just
Whereas
listen to Danny read
that's what the
book.
character Poirot loves.
I love
He doesn't like walking.
Yeah. He's got that very 2-minute mystery energy for people who are Patreon donors. He wants to be told all the details so he can say, well, did you arrest this man? What? How did he know?
Yeah, so pretty much all Poirot did was he looked at Eustace's figurines. He asked what Lord Cronshaw's attitude towards drugs was, and he looked at the Pierrette costume.
Fair.
And then he put on a very elaborate stage show denouement. He hired 5 actors
come on, Poirot.
to wear costumes and stand behind like a shadow silk screen so that their silhouettes would be visible. And so all 6 characters walked across screen and they went, yeah, we can see each of those. Those are our characters. Great. And then he said, but you see, there were only 5 actors. And then the one in the, one of the costumes, does a flourish and reveals that he's in another costume at the same time.
Poirot.
And then Chris Davidson stands up and yells at him and says, how did you know?
How did you know, Poirot? Put the cuffs on me. I'll go to prison now. Poirot, you're silly. It was great. I really liked that with Eustace, that we got in the conversation to a point where it didn't feel too forced for you to say, oh, he doesn't even like drugs, which was great.
That was
that worked out really well, so that I had that detail in my head to remember at the end for people's motivations.
So that came in naturally. That is absolutely the person that Hastings suspects did it, because he had some level of motive. Also, he just doesn't like him. Just thinks,
Ugh.
I don't know, he's a bit pompous and a bit slimy.
Yeah, Hastings, you're a bit slimy.
He's a bit, I think he calls him a poser at one point.
Come on, Hastings, what are you doing? Is it because it was a war thing and he's like, he didn't even go to war. I went to war. I love war. I'm Hastings and I love war. I love to love war. Well, I really enjoyed that. That was so much fun. Thank you so much.
I hope that was a nice taster for
running
getting back into the murders.
Yes, because now I have to write another one. And the one I've been working on for quite a long time stalled so badly that I think I'm basically scrapping it and starting again.
Damn.
I'm not sure. Maybe I'll love it on a revisit of my notes, but I feel like I'm basically scrapping and starting again. Maybe not. I don't know. I'll look into it. But I think...
if we need more in the meantime, I know we've just been so busy. We should release these more often, but there have been a lot of things going on. There's a lot of different work happening. But I do have another mini mystery from this book in mind as a next one.
Well, hopefully we won't need to do that one
yeah,
next.
I'd like to do one of yours again.
Yeah, I enjoy writing them, and they're fun to play through, and you're good at solving. So let's see how that goes. We'll keep everybody up to date. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed another mystery. I think this one was really fun. Nice, quick little
really
three-parter.
well.
I feel really good about just being like, wait a minute, I've got it. I basically solved it. I did a half a denouement at the end of this episode 2, and the other half at the end of episode 3.
I like that I was able to what about some questions with your theory? And I got to do one Poirot-y one where I got to say, but what about the waiters? And you got to say, what do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about.
And then I did. It was lovely. That was a great moment. A very, very Poirot-style moment. But I was Hastings, annoyingly.
Yes.
You always want to be the Poirot when there's a Poirot-style moment. But I was the Hastings. Well, thank you so much, Dani, for putting all that together and adapting that story. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I hope you really enjoyed it. We appreciate all of you who listen to the show. Thank you for putting up with the long absence between mysteries that you often have to put up with.
We appreciate your patience.
Fair, there's a lot of writing of murder mysteries, which is a difficult thing to do. So I hope you have enjoyed this one.
I have also been sick in such a way that my throat has left me unable to talk for long periods of time for about 2 months.
We wanted to record this a long while back. We've had this ready to go recording-wise for quite a while, but sickness was a big problem. It just made recordings not work. So I'm glad we finally managed to be able to find both the time and the physical wellness to get this recording done. So I hope you all enjoyed it. Hopefully there'll be more soon. We'll let you know.
I would have done gruffer voices if I thought my throat could handle it tonight.
Yeah, true. But it was great fun. Thank you so much for supporting the show. If you want to help support the show, the best thing to do, the first and easiest thing to do, is tell people about it. Tell people in your life, tell people online, tweet about it, post about it, put it on, make a TikTok where all you do is talk about our own show. But it's really helpful. Word of mouth is the biggest way that people pick up new podcasts. So please be the mouth that has our words in it. You can also support us on Patreon. We mentioned at the start of the first of these parts that anyone who signs up as a $5 patron gets access to the full mystery on the day that the first part is released. So you can listen to the whole thing and binge it if you would like. But there's also a whole bunch of bonus episodes. Anybody, for any donation level, can appear as an NPC in Murder
I'm
Mysteries.
sorry, I could have changed all the characters' names to...
Is there a Greta? Is there a Greta somewhere on our Patreon feed?
She just felt like a Greta to me.
And then for any donor at any level, there's also Dani is writing a Choose Your Own Adventure that gets constantly updated by audience poll. There are bonus episodes for all the $5 donors. Outside of being able to binge Solve This Murder, you can also listen to all of our many, 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 many episodes of Solving the 2-Minute Mysteries by Donald J. Sobel. You can listen to the behind-the-scenes episodes for our other show, Escape This Podcast. There's videos where we react to escape rooms. There's been a bunch of cryptic crossword episodes recently, a whole bunch of fun stuff there. And that is the best way to support us financially. We don't run any ads.
Maybe for the vlog part, we can start finding whodunits in
it's a great
sitcoms and
idea.
Things.
But yeah, this is how we make our money. It's how we make our living. So any donation you can do, it's a great way to support us. It allows us to keep doing this, to make this a real thing, to pay our bills and to write murder mysteries. So thank you so much for everybody who supports us there. And thank you so much if you're thinking about supporting us. Come over and donate a little bit.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. Have a good whatever part of your week this is. The rest of it, I hope it's good. Bye. Solve This Murder is created by Bill Sunderland and Dani Siller as part of the Consume This Media network. To find out more about all of our shows, you can head to consumethismedia.com. A special thank you to Jared, Devon and Whit from the podcast Advanced Sagebrush and Shootouts for creating our theme music, and thanks to all of you for listening.